All right. Well, welcome everybody. We are Suzanne, and if you could say hello, Steve Clausen. We are the owners of CruiseOne Travel Agency in Sholo, Arizona, and we are so thankful that you're here to learn about these fantastic Alaskan cruises on Celebrity. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'll talk a little bit about what we're doing here tonight. We are a full service travel agency. We've been in business for almost 13 years. In July, it'll be our 13th year of purchasing our franchise. We are avid travelers ourselves. And the most important part of our business is you, our clients. We hope that you will become new clients or continued repeat clients. We focus on trying to make your travel experience the best possible vacation experience that you can have. Your dream vacation is our mission. And from the moment you kind of share with us your vision of what you want to do, we're going to work together, you and I, to personalize the itinerary that just fulfills every dream, everything you want it to be. I'm here to answer questions, help you understand the pros and cons of different cruise lines. I work with them all, but Celebrity is our number one seller. And that's why we're here tonight, because they just do everything so well. So for years, we have had amazing savings through Celebrity. And I would take out these groups and I would have price savings. And it was just really hard to get the word out. And then we came up with this idea of doing these webinars as a way to reach people. We record the webinars, we post them on YouTube. I mean, if you don't know how great our service and our prices are, you don't know what to book with us. So that's why we do these. We want to share those exclusive group rates that we have with our clients. And this is just another way to reach clients and let them know that not only are you going to get my highly experienced uh, service as a full-time professional travel agent, but you're also going to get great pricing when you work with us too. So let's dive into what Celebrity does in Alaska. I'm featuring 2026 reservations because 2025 is mostly sold out, but maybe if we're looking in August or September, we still might be able to find something if you want to go in 25. And there's still some great prices out there for those few sailings that have a few cabins left on them. So Celebrity does round trip Seattle, and that'll be on the Celebrity Edge in 2026. They also do a round trip Vancouver, and that's on the Solstice. And I'll talk about each of these different classes of ship. And then they do the one-way cruises, Vancouver to Seward or Seward to Vancouver. And those one-way cruises can be combined with a cruise tour that's going to take you into Denali National Park and into the heart of Alaska. So this is the itinerary for the the round trip Seattle. You cruise through the Inside Passage. You visit Ketchikan, the Endicott Arm, which is where you're going to go see the Dawes Glacier, Juneau, and Skagway, which is where you can take that beautiful White Pass and Yukon train ride up into the Canadian territory. Beautiful scenic train ride. And then you come back. There is a technical stop. The foreign flagged ship is required to stop at a foreign country on a round trip itinerary. So you do get to visit beautiful Victoria, Canada on your way back. And the round trip Vancouver, of course, it starts and ends in Vancouver. So you don't have to visit another foreign port. And that gives you a chance to visit some of these other areas. It goes to Icy Strait Point, which is a wonderful sort of private island experience run by the local Native Alaskan tribe, Skagway, Juneau, Endicott Arm, and Ketchikan. And then you've got that one-way cruise. And the one-way cruise, the nice thing about that is you get to visit the Hubbard Glacier. And also some of the other great points. You don't do a lot of backtracking. And that ship, if the tide is right, is small enough to sail between that island. Let me see if I can show you. This is Vancouver Island, and the city of Vancouver is here. So you can sail up this passage on this ship. It is a smaller ship. It can do it. Most of the big ships, the tide will not permit them to sail through there. So they have to go out and around in the ocean. Either way, you do get the inside passage for much of the cruise. And you're going to have a wonderful scene experience no matter which itinerary that you choose. So let's talk about Ketchikan. Its nickname is Alaska's first city. And it is known for one of the highlights is what you see in this picture, which is Creek Street. And it's funny because it is the old red light district. All of these buildings here used to be bordellos way back in the gold rush days. And now they're kitschy tourist shops and museums and restaurants and that kind of thing. But it's a great, beautiful scenic area. It goes right over this creek. If you go late enough in the year and the salmon are running, you can see both the harbor seals swimming around in there, trying to catch the salmon. You can see the salmon trying to go up the salmon ladder. And then once you climb up to the top of the hill along the husband's trail, you can get up there and you can see there's a kind of a flat part of the creek there that's calm, and there's fish in there. It's really a beautiful scenic area to visit. Some of the other things you can do in Ketchikan. There is a Bering Sea crab fisherman experience, and this is one of the boats that was in Deadliest Catch, but I think the owners decided to go into tourism instead of risking their lives in the Bering Sea. So you sail calm inland waters and you learn about crab fishing in Alaska. There's also hiking in the area. There's float planes if you want to do a little bit of a splurge that will take you out to the Tongass National Forest. And then you can also do kayaking. Another popular excursion there is you take a boat to like a fish house. I don't know how to explain it, but you go to this place and they cook a wonderful seafood feast for you. So scenic ride to get there, wonderful seafood. There's also kayaking in the area. And I think I mentioned it, the lumberjack show is just adorable. It's very interactive with the audience. It's fun for all ages. And it is a real lumber athlete competition with the log rolling and the chopping and the tree climbing. It's a lot of fun. And you really get the sense of the timber experience that is part of the Alaskan heritage. Oops, I keep getting to Juneau. So Juneau, what the capital of Alaska is? Okay, that's a really bad joke, but it's Juneau. And this is a wonderful port because you can take a helicopter ride to the top of the Mendenhall Glacier, and you can go dog sledding up there. You can just get off. There's another package where you just get up and walk around the glacier. Steve and I did that 32 years ago on our honeymoon, got out, walked around the glacier. You can go into town, which is an easy walk from the cruise ship. There's a sky tram that goes up to the top. This mountain goes way up, and there's a sky tram that goes up there for scenic views. There's king crab places where you get fish and chips. And they recently renovated the Alaska State Museum, and it has a lot of really, really interesting exhibits. It really is a world-class museum with displays and exhibits that really share with you the whole history of Alaska. When we went there 32 years ago, we went in that little museum and it was a tiny little corner and the displays were not really world class. Well, now they've really stepped it up. It is a beautiful, beautiful first class facility there. The cruise ships are usually in port a pretty long time, or sometimes they come in midday and stay till like 10 p.m. So you usually get a nice time to enjoy the port of Juneau. Then there's Skagway, and I have a picture of the White Pass and Yukon train. And this was the train that the gold rushers would take up to the Yukon Territory. They would sail into Skagway, get off with all their equipment, their mules or whatever. And before they had the train, they had to hike up what was called the Trail of Tears, which is this ravine that this beautiful train overlooks and bypasses. There's Bridal Veil Falls. You get up to the top, and it's such a high elevation that the trees are like this tall. They're little tiny trees up there. It gives you a full sense of a broad landscape of Alaska and Canada. And you can take this tour in a couple of different ways from Skagway. You can do the 4-hour turnaround. There's one that goes further into the Canadian territory. You can also get in a bus and go up the other side of the ravine. You can go see, there's a gorge you can see there, some things about Mounties. You see lots of wildlife. We saw moose. There's a beautiful lake at the top where just all the mountains and the trees reflect into it. This is a beautiful port. And if trains are not your thing, you can do some whale watching. There's helicopter dog sledding here. And just to be perfectly clear on what that is, you take a helicopter up to the top of a glacier and then you dog sled with a team that is on the area where there's snow year round. There's also some dog sledding opportunities where you drive carts. So lots of different things to do in this area. It's a wonderful port to visit, and it's included on many of the itineraries. So with Celebrity, you're going to have one glacier viewing opportunity from the ship, and it's usually either going to be Hubbard Glacier or Dawes Glacier. And you can see that they're both spectacular. Another thing that you can do in these glacier areas is that Celebrity contracts with a tour company, and you can purchase a shore excursion where the tour company comes up in their little small boat up along the side of the ship, and they take you a little bit closer to the face of the glacier than the big ship can get, and also closer to things like waterfalls and other little inlets in that area. So there you see that's the Celebrity Summit. In the Hubbard Glacier, there is the Celebrity Edge at the Dawes Glacier. And there is the Celebrity Solstice at the Hubbard Glacier as well. The interesting thing about the Hubbard Glacier is it's actually an advancing glacier. Every year it moves a couple feet forward into the bay, and it calves an awful lot. So you might even be able, from the ship, be able to get a picture of that phenomenon. This is a picture of one of those little boats that does that little tourist, you pay extra for the excursion, but I've done it. Every one of my clients have done it, have absolutely loved it. And there's a picture of Steve and I from that little boat. You can see you get really close to the glacier when you do it that way. So let's talk about the three classes of ship that do Alaska. So there is Edge class, Solstice class, and Millennial class. And here you go. You can see what the ships look like. I'll kind of go over some brief differences. That the Edge is the biggest and the newest of the ship. It has the most innovative, just unique features, and they are all geared towards giving you that sort of floating five-star resort kind of feel. So while other cruise lines are putting on go-karts and water slides, that's not really Celebrity's vibe. They are more about providing a sophisticated, elegant, luxury ambiance on a beautiful cruise ship. And no matter where you are in the world, you're in your floating resort, and then you're also seeing these beautiful destinations. The next class of ship, going backwards, will be the Solstice class ships. And one feature that I'm going to point out on those, if I can show you here, is the beautiful forward-facing observation lounge. On the Edge, they actually have an aft-facing observation lounge, which can be beautiful when you're sailing in scenic areas as well. But the Solstice has a forward one, and so does the Summit. This is actually a picture of the Summit, and again, it's forward-facing observation lounge. The main difference is this is about 2,700 passengers. The Summit is about 2,200, and the Edge classes are about 3,200. They both have very generous space to guest ratios. So no matter which class of ship you are on, it's not going to feel overcrowded, and you're going to find plenty of unique little quiet corners or plenty of action if that's what you want. I do want to point out that Celebrity does have a ship that goes to the Galapagos. They did sell their other two. They just simply have the Celebrity Flora, which is their all-suite luxury 100-passenger Galapagos ship. So that is the fourth class of ship that Celebrity has. So here, pointing out some of the differences, the Edge class were the first ones to introduce what's called the infinite veranda. And you can see this lady standing in her veranda, and the whole room is open. You can push a button, and this railing comes up and closes as a window. So if the weather is bad, but you still want to have the incredible views, you can put that window up, and it is floor to ceiling, wall to wall panoramic views. Absolutely beautiful. And one of my favorite places on the Edge class ships is the Martini Bar, which is 3 stories, beautiful atrium. They have the Martini Flair show there. They have live music, all kinds of different activities, martini tasting. It really is kind of the hub of the ship. But some of the new features of the ship, which debuted in 2019, are the revolutionary infinite verandas, like I said. They do have some classes of cabins, particularly suites and sunset verandas, which have a full open air balcony. But I kind of actually like the infinite veranda because you get this flex space that can be indoors or out. They have the largest standard bathrooms in the fleet. They're about 23% bigger than the bathrooms on other ships. And the rooms themselves are about 25% bigger than standard cruise ship rooms. And you get a full king size bed. It's a full king size bed. They have some purpose-built suite class amenities. They have the retreat lounge, the retreat deck, and the Lumine restaurant, which has a menu curated by Daniel Boulud. So on these ships, the suite amenities were conceived of and built into it from the beginning, not another area that was repurposed, which is one of the beauties. Everything is just seamless on the Edge class ships. They have 4 different themed main dining rooms. You can dine in the same one, but order from the other menus, or you can dine around. So you have lots of flexibility in your dining. And they have 5 or more specialty restaurants on the Edge, including a steakhouse, a seafood place, a barbecue, just some wonderful restaurants on this class of ship. And I'm glad to share more about it when you're ready to start thinking about which ship you want to book. The Solstice class ships, they debuted in 2008. And I have to tell you, when they came out, I thought, oh, I'm not going to like these ships. They're going to feel too big. No, I went on my very first Solstice class ship cruise, and I was like, okay, I'm a believer. This is a beautiful, lovely ship. Again, they have that lovely forward-facing observation lounge, and the balconies are the traditional balcony rooms. So you can see that when you're looking out your room, you don't have quite as expansive a view, but when you go outside, you are in a full open air balcony, and you can close the door behind you. There is about a 10-story atrium with glass elevators that is truly spectacular, and they have 4 or more specialty restaurants, depending on on which ship it is, which really gives you some opportunities to treat yourself to a little bit more elevated dining experience. Though I have to say, one of the reasons I love cruising Celebrity is that the main dining room experience is so wonderful. Between the service, the preparation, the delivery of the food, right temperatures, it's an overall very efficient and very well organized situation in the main dining room. And we'll move to the millennial class. And I think I spelled millennial wrong. I think that's
But
like
it's millennium
millennial.
anyway.
It's okay, millennium, the millennium class. So typo, we both proofed this, but I was like, that is not right.
Missed it.
Okay. So these are their classic ships. They're a bit more intimate. They debuted not in 2008. I think that's wrong. I think that this ship debuted in 2001, but it was completely renovated in 2019. There are 2 specialty restaurants on board. I think there might even be another like little small, like if you count the sushi restaurant, that would give us 3. And then sometimes they have this thing called the porch, and it's not on every one of these ships, but it's a little seafood dining place. They have a beautiful, expansive 2-story main dining room. The staterooms and the bathrooms are a little bit smaller, so you're gaining more intimacy, and it's a smaller ship. 2,200 passengers, but your rooms are going to be a little bit smaller. But the public space always feels like there's plenty of space. There's still huge theaters with these wonderful theatrical productions, no matter which class of ship you are on. So just kind of wanted to kind of go over the differences between the ships. They each have pros and cons, and we've been on all 3 classes of ship over the years, and have learned to love them all. As a matter of fact, I have a special place in my heart for the Infinity, which is one of the oldest ships in it, and it never got a makeover, but it's still, I've had great experiences on it. So Celebrity is different. They really don't want to be like any other cruise line. They want you to go on and have such a tremendous experience that you're never going to want to vacation any other way. There's an intimate feel throughout, with the service that you would get on a smaller luxury ship, but with the excitement, the entertainment, the experiences, the activities of a bigger ship. So if you want to get away from it all for a little while, nothing comes close as a Celebrity cruise. They are an award-winning cruise line. They have several of their ships have been rated as Forbes 4-star resorts at sea. They go to over 300 destinations. They have 16 ships and they touch all 7 continents. And who is celebrity a good fit for? So it really is a broad cross section of people. So if you're into food, like Steve and I are, or and wine, like Steve and I are, celebrity is a wonderful fit because they really do put a lot of thought into their menus. There's always a lot of variety in your main dining room. You're going to have a rotating menu every night, so that's going to be different every single night. And again, with the specialty dining experiences, if you want to splurge a little bit, you can really have that 5-star dining experience. The cultural enthusiast. So that's somebody who they can't wait to get to the destination, learn more about it, get immersed in the culture. And Celebrity does a great job on their Alaska cruises. They always have lecturers that are versed in Alaskan culture, history, the wildlife, the flora, the fauna, everything that you would want to learn about Alaska. And on your sea days, you'll definitely want to attend their lectures in the lounge where you're going to learn all about seabirds and bears and whales. And we've attended so many of those. And if you can't attend live, they record them and you can watch them in your room. Maybe if you're like me and you're working during the day while you're on a cruise. Celebrity is also a great cruise line for the Maverick. That's somebody they get into port, they just want to head out on their own. So although Celebrity does offer a wide variety of tours, they also go into ports that give you that opportunity to explore on your own. And then that indulgent seeker. If you want to be a little bit pampered, you want to maybe walk up to the bar and the waiter knows your name and he says, "Oh, you have an old fashioned with Maker's Mark," or with whatever with Woodford, that they know exactly what you want. They pamper you. They sort of are taking care of you without you even needing to ask. So Celebrity really has that intuitive, very, very highly polished service, but it's always friendly. It's never intrusive, and it's always gonna make you feel special. That's why we love Celebrity so much. So here's a look at what Celebrity feels like matters most to their clients. Of course, the destination, and with Alaska, we have a fantastic destination. There's so many beautiful things to see and do there. The food and drink is super important for them. Again, they want to have elevated hospitality, everything from the flair bartenders in the martini bar to your cabin steward who takes care of your every need and freshens up your room beautifully every day. You want to have a beautiful setting for while you're cruising. And Celebrity has brought in some design features and some designers that have really innovated what a cruise ship looks like. You see that most on the Edge class ships, but on the ships that have been revolutionized, which are the older ships that got complete makeovers, you see it in some of the new features that they're putting in. And I love this that they have people doing yoga and the caption says live shows and activities. So you can rejuvenate or you can celebrate. And here's a good slide that shows that. These folks are, of course, at the famous silent disco, where everybody wears a headset. And so if you're just walking through the room, you don't hear any music and you see all these crazy people dancing. It can be a lot of fun. There's 3 different channels, so you can pick the song that you like. And then restore. Between the spa, the beautiful, relaxing spaces of the cabin, Celebrity gives you a fantastic opportunity to just get away from it all, relax, reinvigorate yourself. And here's a nice little summary of like who the Celebrity cruiser is. Celebrity is all ages. It's people who want to have fun, fitness, frivolity. It really is a great atmosphere on Celebrity. And they do combine, I think, something that no other cruise line does. It's uniquely intimate, but also the bigger and more extravagant things that you would have on a bigger ship. Activities and parties. So there's my family and my friends at the silent disco having a grand old time. But they also have daily trivia competitions. They do something called safe archery, where you're shooting arrows with a foam rubber tip and trying to hit targets. They did curling. They had a plastic like ice curling board, but it was plastic, or maybe they put something on it. And our friends, Jill and John, did that in our Australia cruise on the Edge, and they were so thrilled because they won, and it was a knockout tournament. So they had to take on all these Canadians, and they were so thrilled they beat the Canadians at curling. They had a lot of fun doing that. So they have fun little pop-up activities like that. They have line dance contests, fitness classes. Again, I mentioned the enrichment lectures on Alaska, where you're going to learn about all the animals and the seabirds and uh, the bears on land. It's just so interesting. They always do a Liars Club, which is hysterical because they take a word, kind of like you do in the game Balderdash, and it's usually the captain, maybe the cruise director, and maybe a guest entertainer. They are all trying to tell you that their definition of the word is correct, and it gets pretty hysterical. I can't even describe it, but it's very fun. Something else they do is ABBA night. So if you were an ABBA fan like me, they have an ABBA sing along and dance night. They have amazing world-class entertainment on Celebrity, from acrobats. Every ship always has acrobatics incorporated into the variety shows. They also do little, I call them like jukebox musicals, where they tell a little bit of a story. And usually it's about somebody coming out of their shell, or getting thoughts out of their head and lightening up and relaxing. So it's very affirming to the joy of being on a cruise, these shows that they do. And it's usually a combination of popular music and maybe some classic songs as well. And then they always have wonderful guest entertainers, whether it be a xylophonist, a violinist, a cellist, a singer, an opera singer, a Broadway singer, pop singer. They have a little bit of everything with the variety of entertainment on Celebrity. And the shows are 45 minutes. In general, they tend to be at 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. So if you have early dining, you usually go after dinner. If you have late dining, you go before. But some cruise directors switch that up a little bit. They're only 45 minutes, and we always enjoy them. So I do highly recommend that you go to the shows on Celebrity. They're always a lot of fun, and something I really enjoy. The gourmet dining experience. So these are pictures from a variety of different Celebrity trips that I've been on. But the main dining room, that is where that steak is from. That was a lovely sirloin steak in the main dining room. They also have the quick service menu in the Ocean View Cafe. There is a variety of food served there for both breakfast, lunch, a little bit slimmed down for dinner, but they do have some cook to order offerings at dinner time. So you can get a casual meal if you just don't want to do the whole formal dining. Maybe you want to go to some entertainment that night that if you sat down for the formal dining, you couldn't get to. Great waiters. And the other thing I like is they have a really good sommelier team. So most people tend to have the beverage package now. So if you're having dinner, they have usually 3 whites and 3 reds and maybe like 1 or 2 rosés. And you can talk to the sommelier and find something you like to have with your meal. You also might want to splurge and buy an extra special bottle of wine if you're celebrating something. And their sommelier team has the expertise to, like, okay, tell me what you like, and they'll help you find exactly what you want to drink. So we love their sommelier team. The Martini Bar is another great place to relax and have fun and enjoy. This guy apparently holds the record for pouring 52 martinis at the same time. We call this event the Big Pour. It's part of the Flair show. Sometimes they don't always do this many, but it is kind of fun. They are able to just top that thing over and fill up all those glasses, and they hardly spill a drop. It's amazing. It's amazing. And they also do a little juggling, a little flair when they're preparing the martinis. And the specialty dining. So there's several different specialty restaurants. These happen to be some of the ones that are on the Solstice class ships. So you've got the Tuscan Grill. You've got Cuisine featuring La Petite Chef, and that is a animated chef, and you can see it in this picture right here. That's all animation. This little chef is going around the side of my plate and making this bouillabaisse. And then when he's done making it on the plate, the waiters come and present that dish to you, like just like what the chef made. It's kind of fun. There's also sushi on 5 and Muranos. And the Edge class ship, it has got fine cut steakhouse. It's got raw on 5, which is a seafood and sushi restaurant. It has Eden, which is all the way on the back of the ship. And I thought it would be really weird food, and I didn't eat there a couple times. Boy, did I miss out. It's really good food with just creative presentation. So I love the Eden on the Edge class ship. And then on the Edge class also has the grill, the barbecue grill that's up by the lawn club. The Solstice class ship, which is the Solstice, is going to have the same as what you see here, but the Summit, that's the one that's different. That has the Tuscan grill and the cuisine featuring La Petite Chef. So that's what you'll find, the specialty restaurants on that ship. And it also has a sushi on 5 as well. So Celebrity has lots of suites on their ships. I just wanted to mention this is the starting category for the suites. They go all the way up to the iconic suite, which is a 2,000 square feet suite with like 2 bedrooms and 2 baths, or maybe 3 baths. Has this like a little prep kitchen. It is an amazing suite that is above the bridge, so you have a better view than the captain if you book that suite. And there's everything in between on all classes of ships. So if you want a little bit more pampering, a little bit more privilege in that you get, there's some exclusive areas that only the suite guests can get into. Definitely, get me to quote a suite price for you. You get an exclusive dining experience, exclusive lounge, and exclusive outdoor pool deck, as well as lots of other premium amenities that you don't get with the standard balcony cabins. So now we get to talk about different ways that you can book. Now, I have taken out groups on lots of different sailings during the summer of 2026. And these are like my promotional groups. These are ones where I've taken out these groups. I have great prices that are great value, and I pass that on to my clients. And they include more perks. So our group rates are always going to include the drinks and the Wi-Fi with them. And they always have a refundable deposit. So up until 90 days, you have complete flexibility. You're not going to lose any money, and you get a great price and perks, and your money's not at risk if you book the group rates. And overall, it really is a better value and savings than the individual rates. But Celebrity has a lot of different ways in which I can book you, and I can book you whatever way works for you. I have some clients that are Zenith with Celebrity, which means they have been sailing with Celebrity forever. They get a drink package. They get, or if they're Elite Plus, they get a happy hour. So they don't want the drink package, and they're not like me. They're not trying to work from the ship. They don't need the Wi-Fi. So for them, that no perk rate is perfect. But I think anybody who's wants to have just even a couple drinks a day, and you need to be able to access your Wi-Fi, the rate with the perks is always better, especially when it's our group rate, because it's going to come with that refundable deposit. You can book drinks and Wi-Fi with a non-refundable deposit. You can book no perk refundable, drinks and Wi-Fi refundable. And on some ships, some sailings, some promotional times, they have senior rates, state resident rates, military discounts. Almost every sailing has a military discount. So if you are military, be sure to raise your hand, and I will make sure that we get the military discount applied. It's usually $50 to $100 per person. It just depends on the ship and the length of sailing. With our group rates, remember, we have a refundable deposit, drinks and Wi-Fi. And usually we have either a promotion, or we have, if you book early enough with a group rate, you're going to get some sort of onboard credit. Usually it's about $50, but hey, and that's in addition to whatever other promotions are running. So, I'll take $50 over a sharp stick in the eye. So there's also a flash sale going on, right? Well, it's going to start this Friday. So Friday, June 5th to Monday, June 9th, We've got discounts that apply to our group rates. So that gets you 100 per balcony cabin. So when you're looking at it per person, you take 100 off. And then for the ocean views, it's $50 off. And that runs this Friday to next Monday. And we can apply those prices to our group rates. So now I'm going to show you what the value of our group rates is. I have 4 slides where I've featured the savings. And these are kind of just random ones. We actually have, in addition to my own personally managed group space, we have block space on almost every ship, every sail date during the summer of next year. And that gives me access to group rates and that additional $50 onboard credit for almost every week. I mean, if something's really, there's maybe a partial charter and the ship is really full, we might not have that. Or if it's sold out early, maybe a family group came in to another one of our agencies and blocked out a lot of spaces, might not have it. But at this point, it's very open. So as long as you're at least somewhat flexible with your ship and sail date, I can get you access to some of these savings rate. So I want to show you for this. This is the Celebrity Solstice for May 24th of 2026. This is our 2 per group rate, and you can take $100 off of this if we book you between Friday and Monday. So this is the concierge class. Our rate is $23.78, and of course we can take $100 off that, so it's $22.78. And so I want to show you how that compares. So this is the Celebrity Direct 2 per rate with a refundable deposit. So it always beats that. This is the no perk refundable deposit rate. And then this is the 2 perk non-refundable deposit rate. And this is the no perk non-refund. So our price beats anything with the drinks and the Wi-Fi. And when you look at the difference in the price between the no perk and the 2 perk, it's kind of a no-brainer to take the ones with the 2 perks. So you can see, we've got the $23.78, and then the only rate that is lower than our rate once we bought it are the no perk rates. So it really is a good deal and a great value to book with us at our group rates. And I'll go to another date, same situation. This is the Celebrity Edge for June 12th of 2026. Again, you're going to take $100 off this rate, so it's going to be $28.33 per person. The Celebrity Direct rate with 2 perks and a refundable deposit is $32.45. And these are for the concierge class and the infinite veranda. If you want to look at insides and ocean views, we do sometimes have great group rates on those category of cabins as well. So I just want to show you that the value is there. But hey, if you're absolutely a no perk non-refundable deposit rate, I can book you at that rate and I can move you into our group. And you keep this rate, you still have a non-refundable deposit, but you get that extra $50 onboard credit if we move you into our group. And there's an onboard credit offer. Here again is the July 3rd Celebrity Summit. Remember, that's the smaller ship that does the one-way cruises. You get an idea. Our price, so we have some V1s that we've contracted. Our contract has not been completely eaten up. So we can get you a V1 at $29.59. The direct rates, they only have the V3s, which are parcel views. So, and they're higher price. So I wanted to point that out, as lots of times we'll have access to categories of cabins that are not available if you're booking with Celebrity Direct. So again, tremendous savings on that particular sail date. And then we have the Celebrity Edge for September 11th. You might wonder, is September too late to go to Alaska? Well, we did it about 2 years ago. And between the salmon running, the cooler weather, the northern lights, we actually saw northern lights. We did not regret going in September at all. So still a great time to go to Alaska in the late season in September. And there are even some cruise lines that are doing it all the way in through like the middle or the end of October. 1, because the Alaska season is so popular, and 2, because you have a chance to see those northern lights. So again, our pricing, great value. You're going to take $100 off this price. So we do offer tremendous value with our 2 perk rates and a refundable deposit. Again, I have lots of groups sailing on lots of different cruise lines. I take out groups on things that I think people are going to like, that I know my clients are going to like. I usually try to pick categories that they're going to like. But we also have, I mentioned this, we're a preferred national account partner with Celebrity, and they basically, with our headquarters, they give us all this block space that is at discounted rates. We get basically we get an allocation on almost every sailing, as I mentioned before. And so as an individually owned franchise, I can book into that, but you still get my personalized service of being a small mom and pop operation. I mean, our company is me, my husband, and my daughter-in-law. So we're a small family owned company, and like the fact that we are able to offer such personalized service by being such a small company. You know, you're going to talk to me or Steve or Lauren. You know, you're not going to get a switchboard, a call center. You're not going to get somebody that just started last week. You're working with people that have experience with both cruising, traveling, and with training that you need to be able to do this job. So I'd like you to call me for a no obligation quote. I can go through the whole chart for your particular ship and sail date, and we can decide which program works best for you. I mean, like I said, some people, they just like, oh, I don't care if my deposit's non-refundable. I'm definitely going, and I don't drink, so I don't need the perks. So whatever works for you. But you know, if you do want to enjoy, imbibe a little bit, and need that Wi-Fi, the 2 perk rate is absolutely the best value. If you have to purchase those things outright, the internet is $30 to $45 per day, per device. So they have some things where you can kind of double it up and get 2 devices for a special price. And the beverage package at full list price, I think, comes to $110 per person per day. So really good value when you add those things on for just a couple hundred more, and you have the refundable deposit. So we have a special offer for anybody who books with us by June 14th. We're going to give you $100 onboard credit for a balcony or higher category of cabin. So that is our way for thanking you for coming to this webinar, and our way of getting you, you know, just a little something extra when you book with us. And of course, we always work with you to make sure that we have the best rate that works for you, whether it be our discounted rates or some of those other rates. The military rate usually applies to all of them. It's a discount on top of a discount. You're going to get our expert planning assistance with all of with flights. We'll be on board when we escort our groups. Now, this particular one, these are all promotional ones, but we do, if you're interested in going on some of our escorted groups, mention it to us, and we're happy to. Oh, and I forgot to change this one. This is a hazard of reusing old slides, so we'll just skip over that. Flights by celebrity. So I actually have 2 slides that almost have the same information. They book now, pay later, cancel with no penalties anytime. You select the price of the airline. You can choose economy, premium economy, business class. You earn miles with your airline, and you have that arrival guarantee with a 24-hour support team. And they also have very competitive rates. And again, I kind of repeat the same thing here. The most important thing is you can earn airline miles, and they don't assign you your air. There's other airlines that you sign up for the 2-for-1 air, and you get what you get. There's even some luxury lines that you sign up for a special price, and you get what you get. With Flights by Celebrity, you go in there 11 months before your return date, or you're on the phone with me, or you're on the phone with Flights by Celebrity, and they're like, okay, it's this much if you do this routing. If you go on your favorite airline and you go through this airport because you like this one more than the other one, it's this much. And so you can customize your air completely. And they do have really good prices. You don't pay any more for their service. The only thing that's kind of a difference is once you're booked and paid, if you need to make any changes, you cannot work directly with the airlines. You've got to call the Flights by Celebrity department. But the good thing is you don't have to call me in between. They will work with you directly. So it's just like calling the airline, but you're working with them. And after that's paid for and booked, there are some change fees involved if you do need to change your flight for whatever reason. We do a wide variety of cruises at our agency. So I always like to mention some of our other group cruises. I mentioned that we do escort groups. So I just wanted to throw those in really quick. If you've never done a river cruise, I have got 3 that are going to be great ones that Steve and I are escorting next year. Bordeaux, we did a webinar on April 16th. And then we've got a large group going on the gems of Southeast Europe from Budapest to Bucharest. It's a celebration of wine cruise. We've got a local winery. He's already shipped his wine to Europe, and it will be on board our ship for us to try at all of his events. And then in April of 2026, we are doing the Avalon Vista, this romantic ride, and then we're going to do a 4-day extension that includes Lake Lucerne and Lake Como. So some of the most beautiful areas of the Netherlands, Germany, Switzerland, France, Italy, all covered on that cruise. And we did a webinar, recorded it on the 29th. So we've got Scandinavian capitals that you can actually do. We will put together a custom package between the end of that tour with Milan and Amsterdam, fly you back to Amsterdam, and you get to do, you could join us for this Rotterdam cruise. We recorded a webinar on April 17th. We've got balcony cabins. It's amazing. You can get all this many more new countries with that package. So if you're interested in doing those 2 back to back, we'd love to have you join us. And if you've always wanted to go to Antarctica, maybe you've been to Alaska and you like the cold and you want to go to Antarctica, we have 2 ways. Celebrity Equinox is doing it for 14-night sailing in January of 2026, and I still have some group pricing available on that. That is scenic sailing only through Antarctica. So you sail. This is a great picture of what it looks like. You're in Antarctica. But we're also doing an expedition cruise this year in 2026. So that'll be next February. We're taking a small group. If that's something you've always wanted to do, the price point is a little bit more than a regular cruise, but that's because this is a 120 passenger ship and you actually get in Zodiacs and walk around Antarctica when you go on that cruise. So amazing, amazing immersive experience. And it's been so popular. We took out 2 new groups that we're promoting for 2027 with great discount pricing. So let me know if you're interested in that. If you always wanted to just get on a ship and sail forever, how about a 70-day Grand South America and Antarctica with Holland America? It's a beautiful itinerary. I mean, you're going to get a little bit of everything, including the Panama Canal, the Amazon, Argentina. You can even get out and take a cross-country tour to Machu Picchu. So if you ever wanted to experience South America, this is a great way to do it. We also love small ship cruising, and we have got 2 back-to-back cruises that you can do one or the other or both. On Windstar, this is a 320 passenger ship that is going to take us into the most intimate experience in Greece and Turkey. And that ship is actually small enough that it can go through the Corinth Canal, and we are going to transverse the Corinth Canal. Very exciting. And then if you want to do them both, I can put together a custom 4-day package for you in Athens or anywhere in the nearby area. And you can stay in Athens and then join us on the Asmara cruise. And that's what Steve and I are doing. We're doing both, and we have nice little groups on both of these. So if you ever wanted to see a solar eclipse from a cruise ship, I still have availability for the 14-night Spain and Portugal. My 7-night Iceland sold out in 2 weeks. I took a group out on it. I had a webinar. It sold out in 2 weeks. So this is August 1st of 2026. And this is total price, based on 2 guests in the cabin, is per cabin pricing, not per person on this particular graphic, because I grabbed it from our webpage where it gives the cabin total. And then Holland America also has some solar eclipse cruises. Steve and I actually did one this last year. It was by accident. The ship schedule changed a little bit, and we were actually in the 90% zone. So we weren't in the 100% zone, but we were in the 90% zone. And that's where we took that picture. That was putting a thing over the camera lens and got that picture. But these are longer departures. 35-night Voyage of the Vikings. We've done a 24-night version of that. Fantastic. And then there's a 28-night Scandinavian and the 13-night Mediterranean from Barcelona. So a wide variety of options that we have if the solar eclipse is something you always wanted to do. So book now for big savings. Join one of our exclusive groups. You got to book by June 14th. Now, I have June 9th to get that $200 savings per balcony cabin. So that's why I have that in there, because it's going to run this weekend and close on Monday. You're going to get risk-free refundable deposits with our group rates. You're going to get the beverage and the Wi-Fi included. Plus, usually there's a little bit more onboard credit. And then we've got our bonus onboard credit for balcony and higher cabins, booked by June 14th. So the savings, you got to book by June 9th. But if you just can't make up your mind before then, we'll get you that onboard credit if you book by June 14th. And that brings us to the end of our presentation. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it got you excited about Celebrity Cruises. Like I said, they are my best-selling cruise line. They have so much to offer in terms of that combination of refined, almost luxury, but very casual at the same time, and a friendliness and service and great food. There's hardly anything wrong you can point out wrong with a Celebrity Cruise. So I want to open it up for questions. I don't know. I should see if I got to show the meeting and then I can see the chat. Let me see if I get the chat up, see if anybody put anything in chat. Don't see anything in the chat box. If you are on mute, feel free to unmute yourself if you have any questions. Otherwise, we'll just wrap it up. So let me do that. Let me stop the recording. So again, if you're watching the recording, thank you so much for joining us. And I'm going to end the recording now.